You can feel it, can't you? The air is heavy with change. Something inside you is rising, calm but unstoppable. And deep within your soul, you know, this time you are the one leading the way. This is not the same feminine who once begged for clarity or waited for signs. This is the feminine who walked through fire and came out glowing with wisdom. The one who no longer chases, no longer doubts, no longer needs to be chosen, because she remembers that she already was. The divine feminine leads not through force, but through vibration. Her silence is her sword. Her peace is her power. Her love, steady, fearless, eternal, is the light that guides the masculine home. While he is still untangling his lessons, she has already arrived. And by standing in her truth, she activates his. This is the final stage, the moment when everything the feminine has healed, forgiven, and surrendered begins to bear fruit. She doesn't have to prove her worth. Her energy speaks it. She doesn't have to call him back. Her frequency already does. And as she rises, the entire connection follows. The universe is shifting. The energy of union no longer belongs to those who wait. It belongs to those who embody. And the divine feminine is embodying it now, fully, fiercely, beautifully. Her heart has become the compass that leads the way forward, not just for her counterpart, but for every soul walking the path of divine love. You are that feminine, the one who breaks cycles by staying soft, the one who leads by being still, the one whose presence moves timelines. This is your era. The universe is done preparing you. Now it's following your lead. There comes a moment in every twin flame journey when the divine feminine stops looking outward for direction and begins to follow the voice of her own soul. That moment is now. The energy has shifted. You can feel it in your body, a calm strength, a quiet knowing that doesn't need validation. You're not waiting for signs anymore because you've become one. You're not asking for clarity because you've learned to see through stillness. The part of you that once doubted, begged, and feared is dissolving. And what's emerging in its place is pure embodiment, the feminine standing fully in her divine power. For lifetimes, the feminine was conditioned to follow, to nurture, to wait. But the final stage of the twin flame journey asks her to lead, not in dominance, but in consciousness. It's her healed vibration that lights the path ahead, both for herself and for the masculine. This leadership isn't loud, it's magnetic. It doesn't demand, it attracts. It doesn't control, it aligns. The divine feminine leads by remembering who she is, Every time she chooses peace over panic, faith over fear, presence over impatience, she is leading. Every time she refuses to shrink just to be understood, she is leading. Every time she chooses to love without losing herself, she is embodying her divine mission. Her very existence becomes an anchor point for the new energy on earth. The feminine who leads isn't the one who has all the answers. She's the one who's learned to trust the unknown, because she knows the universe moves through her. When she follows her intuition, she's following divine guidance. When she honors her emotions, she's decoding energetic truth. Her sensitivity is not a weakness, it's her greatest compass. Right now, the universe is crowning the feminine with spiritual authority. You may not see it in the physical yet, but it's happening in energy. You're being asked to stop doubting your voice, your visions, your intuition. That whisper in your heart, the one that feels too big, too bold, too sacred, is your soul calling you to lead, not just in love, but in purpose. Because leadership in this final stage isn't about control, it's about frequency. The higher your vibration, the clearer your path becomes. The masculine feels this shift even if he can't explain it. He senses your energy pulling away, not in rejection, but in sovereignty. And that energetic withdrawal creates space for him to rise. Your strength doesn't push him away, it awakens him. Because when the feminine stops waiting for him to lead, the connection finally begins to move. This is what the final stage is about. The moment when the feminine steps forward and everything around her begins to rearrange. Old timelines collapse, old identities fade. She no longer fits in the version of herself that loved from fear. Now, she loves from truth. Her energy is the bridge between separation and union. And this leadership doesn't come with applause. It comes with quiet moments of surrender, choosing trust even when nothing makes sense, choosing love even when there's no promise of return. That's where her real power lies. She leads not because she wants to, but because the universe moves through her. She is the current, the pulse, the rhythm of divine love itself. So if lately you've been feeling the urge to act differently, to stop chasing, to stop waiting, to stop overgiving, that's the signal. You're stepping into your divine authority. The energy that once drained you now begins to obey you. The cycles that once held you begin to dissolve in your presence. You've become the calm that transforms chaos. This is not ego, it's remembrance. Remembrance of the truth that you were never meant to follow in this stage. You were meant to guide. Your heart has become the map, your light has become the signal, and your faith has become the movement. You are the shift the masculine has been waiting for. You are the bridge the universe has been preparing. You are the embodiment of the prophecy that love would lead. And as you step forward in power, the universe steps with you. Doors open effortlessly. People respond differently. Timelines align naturally. Because when the feminine leads in truth, creation follows in harmony. This is your moment, not to force, not to prove, but to be. To walk as love in human form. To let your light show others what alignment looks like. And to remind every soul still waiting for permission that the time has already come. You're not becoming the leader. You already are. And as you move forward, the entire collective moves with you. One heartbeat, one vibration, one divine purpose at a time. There comes a point in the twin flame journey when words, plans, and expectations no longer lead the way. Energy does. That point has arrived. The divine feminine has reached a vibration where her energy is no longer reactive, it's directive. She doesn't follow the path anymore. She creates it. Everything in the connection, every sign, every dream, every divine orchestration is now moving according to the frequency she holds. Because the universe responds not to what we say, but to what we embody. This is what makes her energy the map for union. Her light, her peace, her alignment. They become the guiding force that both souls follow, even in silence. She doesn't need to speak to the masculine to reach him anymore. Her vibration travels where her voice cannot. Her frequency whisper what words can't express. I remember who we are. Have you noticed how things shift when you choose calm over chaos? How communication flows easier when you stop trying to force it? How signs multiply the moment you release control? That's because your energy has taken the lead. You're not waiting for the map anymore. You are the map. For so long, the feminine thought she had to do more. Explain, reach out, heal faster, pray harder. But the truth is, her presence is already doing the work. When she aligns with peace, she sends a wave of energy through the connection that activates the masculine's next phase of awakening. When she chooses self-worth over fire, she calls him into reflection. When she forgives, the karmic energy between them dissolves without a word. This is energetic leadership, unseen but unstoppable. You might not see physical movement yet, but everything is shifting behind the scenes. Your stillness is moving mountains. Your peace is collapsing illusions. Your surrender is realigning timelines, because union is not achieved through chasing, it's achieved through frequency. The more you live in your higher vibration, the closer the physical reflection becomes. This is why the universe trained you through silence and separation. It was never punishment, it was preparation. To teach you that the real power of the feminine is not found in reaction, but in resonance. When you stopped chasing what was already yours, your energy began to stabilize, and in that stability, you became magnetic. The masculine feels it. He might not understand it yet, but he feels the pull, the same pull he once ran from. Your energy has become a mirror, showing him everything he avoided seeing within himself. It's uncomfortable for him because your peace exposes his restlessness. Your clarity reveals his confusion. Your love, no longer needy, reflects the void inside his own heart. And that's how healing begins, not through convincing, but through vibration. Union is not an event, it's a frequency, one that you reach before it ever manifests physically. And when you hold that energy long enough, reality has no choice but to catch up. You are teaching the connection what divine harmony feels like. You are showing the universe what readiness looks like. Every time you choose to ground instead of react, the map becomes clearer. Every time you choose self-love instead of doubt, the journey speeds up. Every time you choose to believe without seeing, another barrier dissolves. That's how divine leadership works. Quiet, consistent, and powerful beyond measure. You may not realize it, but your guides, angels, and ancestors are working through your energy field right now. They're using your vibration as a navigation system to align the timelines of both souls. That's why you're being guided to rest, to hydrate, to meditate, to simplify. Your vessel is carrying codes for reunion. You're transmitting healing through your very existence. And as your energy continues to stabilize, you'll start to see the outer world reflect your inner balance. Communication opens unexpectedly. Dreams feel more vivid, almost prophetic. You'll sense when his heart softens, when his walls begin to fall, when destiny starts to move. It's not imagination, it's synchronization. Your vibration is leading both of you home. So breathe, feminine. Don't underestimate what your energy is doing in silence. Every heartbeat, every prayer, every choice to stay in alignment. It's creating a path through the unseen. You don't need to force union. You're already living it, energetically. And the moment your physical reality matches that truth, it will feel less like something new and more like something you always knew was coming. Because deep down, you've never been lost. You've just been remembering. And now that your energy is clear, steady, and strong, the universe finally has a map it can follow. The map written by your light. There's a moment in the twin flame journey that no one prepares you for. The silent awakening of the masculine. It doesn't begin with fireworks or instant recognition. It starts quietly, almost imperceptibly, when he begins to feel her energy again. But this time, it's different. It's not longing, it's not chaos. It's light. The same energy that once made him run now pulls him in. Her peace, her confidence, her soft detachment, they become a vibration his soul can no longer resist. Because when the feminine truly rises, her frequency becomes a mirror of everything he forgot he was. Her stability awakens his purpose. Her calm exposes his restlessness. Her self-love begins to heal his shame. This is the moment when the divine masculine starts to feel again, deeply, painfully, truthfully. At first, it confuses him. He doesn't understand why she crosses his mind at random, why her name shows up in conversations, why he dreams of her face so vividly. He tries to distract himself, to bury those feelings in work, noise, or other connections. But it never lasts. Because her energy is not a memory, it's a frequency, and once his soul recognizes it, nothing else satisfies. This is what her light does. It activates the remembrance that he has tried to silence for so long. He begins to feel the difference between comfort and connection, between distraction and destiny. Her light calls him out of survival and into awakening. And that's not an easy process. It breaks him open from the inside out. You see, while the feminine leads through embodiment, the masculine transforms through confrontation. Her energy brings him face to face with the truth he has avoided, the masks, the patterns, the wounds. Every time she forgave him silently, it planted a seed. Every time she chose love over anger, it built a bridge. Every time she walked away with peace instead of pain, she taught him what real love feels like, unconditional and unbound. Now, those seeds are blooming. Her energy is rippling through his consciousness, dissolving layers of ego and defense. He begins to question everything he once believed about love, control, and worth. He feels her everywhere, not as pressure, but as presence. The presence of something pure that refuses to give up on him, even from a distance. And this is how the masculine awakens, not through being told, but through feeling. through the quiet power of her energy that no longer chases, no longer clings, no longer demands, because that energy forces him to turn inward, to listen, to see, to remember. In his silence, he begins to realize that her absence was never punishment. It was initiation. She stepped back not to abandon him, but to give him space to find himself. And now, her light shines like a beacon through the fog of his confusion. It's not loud, but it's impossible to ignore. It reaches places her words never could. He starts to notice signs too, songs, numbers, dreams that speak her name. They appear when he's doubting, when he's tempted to return to old habits. The universe is orchestrating everything to remind him that this connection isn't finished. It's transforming. Her energy is everywhere because it's part of his soul's map. And every time he surrenders another layer of resistance, he moves closer to her vibration. This awakening can look like chaos. He might pull away again, go silent, or seem lost. But beneath the surface, everything is shifting. He's shedding versions of himself that can't exist in union energy. The same pain that once pushed him away now propels him toward healing. He's learning that love doesn't have to hurt. It has to evolve. And through it all, her light remains steady, not to rescue, but to remind, not to fix, but to reflect, because that's what divine love does. It transforms through presence, not pressure. The feminine doesn't chase him home, she becomes home. And in time, his soul will find its way back to that frequency because it was made for it. If you've been feeling waves of emotion, random peace, or sudden warmth lately, that's him responding. If you've been dreaming more vividly, hearing his name, or sensing his energy around you, that's his awakening echoing through your field. The connection is rebalancing itself. You're not imagining it. The masculine is awakening through you. So don't dim your light to make him comfortable. Shine brighter. Don't reach out to pull him forward. Stand tall and let your frequency call him higher. Because the journey ahead doesn't need your effort. It needs your embodiment. You've become the sock that reminds him of his divinity. And as his heart cracks open, as the layers fall away, he'll realize what you always knew. This was never separation. It was preparation. And the light he's running toward now was yours all along. Every twin flame journey begins in spirit, but it was never meant to stay there. At some point, the love that existed in dreams, telepathic moments, and synchronicities must descend. It must anchor into the physical world. That's what this chapter of the journey is about. The universe is preparing both the divine feminine and the divine masculine to bring heaven down to earth. The feminine feels it first. She begins to crave grounding, to simplify her surrounding, to care for her body, to create stability. This isn't regression, it's embodiment. Her soul knows that union cannot be lived only in energy. It needs a vessel strong enough to hold it. Every emotion she integrates, every boundary she reinforces, every act of self-love she embodies becomes a landing strip for divine energy to touch matter. This is why so many of you are feeling the need to release clutter, to rest, to eat differently, to move differently. Your body is preparing to hold a higher frequency. You are anchoring light, not as an idea, but as a reality. And when you do this, the connection begins to shift from the unseen to the seen. What once existed in vibration starts to find expression in the 3D. Communication returns. Opportunities align. The timing begins to make sense. But here's the truth most forget. Anchoring union isn't about the masculine showing up. It's about you showing up differently when he does. Because this time, your peace won't collapse when he appears. Your energy won't depend on his attention. Your love won't shrink to fit his pace. You will meet him from wholeness, not from hunger, and that wholeness is what allows true union to manifest in the physical. Everything the feminine has healed was never just spiritual work. It was preparation for embodiment. The tears, the silence, the surrender, they built the energetic foundation. Now, the physical structure is rising, your vibration has matured, and the universe is matching it with experiences that reflect your inner frequency. If it's peaceful, it stays. If it's heavy, it falls away. Because the 3D world can no longer hold what doesn't align with your soul's evolution. Meanwhile, the masculine is catching up. He's beginning to feel the pull to make tangible changes, ending cycles, releasing karmic situations, facing what he avoided. Don't mistake his struggle for resistance. He's restructuring his life so that it can hold the light he once ran from. Your frequency has shown him what truth feels like, and he can't unfeel it. Even when he fights it, the awakening continues. Every time he chooses integrity over illusion, he steps closer to alignment. This stage is where both counterparts begin to move in silent harmony. You'll feel waves of activity without reason, an urge to clean, write, travel, or start anew. Those are nudges from the universe saying, "Get ready." The bridge is forming. Each inspired action you take anchors the frequency of union deeper into matter. You are co-creating with the divine, and the physical world is finally responding. It's not always easy. Anchoring energy this pure can bring temporary chaos, miscommunication, emotional purges, even unexpected endings. Don't fear them. They are not signs of regression, but recalibration. When your vibration rises, everything not aligned will shake loose. That's how the universe clears the path for divine alignment to manifest. Remember, union isn't just two souls reuniting. It's two frequencies resonating in harmony. You're not trying to make something happen. You're allowing what's already real in energy to express itself in form. That's the essence of anchoring. You're the bridge between heaven and earth. Your body, your breath, your choices, they are portals through which divine love enters the human realm. So if things around you feel unsettled, don't lose faith. When light anchors into density, it always stirs what's been hidden. Breathe through it. Trust the process. Because once the energy stabilizes, the external confirmation arrives. The message, the meeting, the moment where everything finally makes sense. At that point, you'll realize something profound. You didn't manifest union through effort. You became union through embodiment. You turned divine love into living presence. And because you've anchored it, it can finally stay. The divine feminine leads this anchoring. Through her stillness, her faith, and her surrender, she teaches the world how to ground light without losing softness. She becomes the proof that love isn't just a feeling, it's a force. And that force, when embodied, changes everything. This is the bridge between worlds, between spirit and body, between longing and living, between the dream of love and love made real. So breathe, feminine. The unseen is becoming seen. The energy is taking shape. Union is not ahead. It's unfolding now, one aligned heartbeat at a time. There comes a point in the twin flame journey when the feminine realizes that true leadership doesn't come from movement. It comes from mastery, not mastery over others, but mastery over self. This is that moment. She has walked through every test of patience, every mirror of rejection, every illusion of loss, only to discover that what she was chasing was never outside of her. It was the reflection of her own divine essence calling her home. Now she leads differently, not by reaching, not by pushing, not by proving, but by being. Her energy has become steady, sovereign, and magnetic. And that steadiness is what transforms everything around her. The feminine, who once begged for answers, now walks as the answer. The one who waited for signs has become the sign. The one who sought union has become union in form, because when she stopped chasing love, she became the vibration of it. And that frequency is impossible to resist. Leading without chasing is the art of trusting the unseen even when the physical looks silent. It's knowing that alignment speaks louder than words, and that the universe is always orchestrating behind the veil. It's choosing to remain grounded in peace, even when emotions rise and timelines stretch. Because her stillness is not stagnation, it's synchronization. It's the space where divine timing breathes. When the feminine stops waiting, she steps into timelessness. She no longer asks, "When will it happen?" Because she understands it's already happening. Every act of self-love, every breath of surrender, every prayer whispered in faith becomes an instruction to the universe. I'm ready for harmony. And the universe responds, not to desperation, but to devotion, because waiting keeps you in separation. Embodiment brings you into oneness. The masculine feels this shift. He senses that she's no longer orbiting around his potential. She's rooted in her own reality. And that changes the dynamic completely. Her absence of chase creates presence. Her silence becomes gravitational. Her energy no longer seeks completion, it emanates it. That's when he begins to awaken differently, not from pressure, but from inspiration, because he can finally feel the difference between being needed and being invited. The feminine who leads through embodiment opens a sacred space for the masculine to meet her in frequency, not fear. In this stage, her greatest power is her peace. Her greatest act is non-action. Her most potent communication is energetic. She doesn't prove loyalty, she is loyalty. She doesn't demand effort. She embodies worth. She doesn't need closure. She becomes clarity. The feminine who no longer chases becomes the oracle of divine timing. She moves in flow with the rhythm of her higher self, not the tempo of human impatience. Her surrender doesn't mean she's given up. It means she's ascended above the need to control. Every moment she chooses trust over tension. She aligns more deeply with divine will. Every time she refuses to react, she teaches the masculine what divine love feels like. Safe, patient, unwavering. Her energy is the sermon his soul came to hear. This is leadership in its purest form, walking as love without needing recognition, guiding without announcing, healing without speaking. It's the quiet revolution of the heart that changes the course of destiny. And yes, there will be moments when silence feels like loss, when her human self wonders if the connection was ever real. But even in that silence, her higher self smiles, because she knows that love this sacred never disappears, it only recalibrates. So if you've felt the pull to stop reaching out, to stop over-explaining, to stop waiting for something to move, this is why you are being initiated into divine leadership. You are learning how to command reality through vibration, not reaction. When you lead without chasing, you declare to the universe that you trust the bond enough to release control. And that's when miracles unfold, quietly, perfectly, inevitably. The call, the message, the reunion, they come not because you sought them, but because you became aligned with the energy where they already exist. You don't have to push the river. You are the river, and the current of your faith is what carries both of you home. So breathe, divine feminine. Let the silence be sacred. Let your stillness be strength. Let your peace be prophecy. Because when you stop chasing, you start leading, and when you stop waiting, the universe starts moving. Something extraordinary is happening across the planet, a silent revolution of the soul. It's not loud, it's not trending, but it's transforming everything. The collective feminine is awakening together. You can feel it in the air, in the dreams, in the conversations that suddenly turn deeper. Women and awakened souls everywhere are beginning to remember who they are. The carriers of divine light, the architects of balance, the keepers of truth. This shift is not just personal, it's planetary. Every feminine who rises in love instead of fear sends a ripple across the collective field. Every act of forgiveness rewires the frequency of humanity. Every time one soul chooses alignment over attachment, it lifts the vibration of millions. You are not healing in isolation. You are part of a wave, a sacred tide of remembrance that the universe itself initiated. This is the era the prophets spoke of, the return of divine balance. The rise of the sacred feminine is not about power over the masculine. It's about power with the masculine. It's not rebellion, it's restoration. For too long, the feminine energy on earth was silenced, shamed, distorted. It was told that softness was weakness, intuition was madness, and emotion was instability. But now, those lies are collapsing under the weight of truth. The collective feminine is reclaiming her voice, not as noise, but as knowing. She's remembering that her sensitivity is not fragility, it's frequency. Her empathy is not burden, it's brilliance. Her tears are not chaos. They are cleansing codes that renew creation itself. Across timelines, you can feel it, a rebalancing of worlds. The earth is responding to this awakening. Nature is echoing her rhythm. The elements are amplifying her tone. The storms, the fires, the floods, they're not destruction, they're purification. They're mirroring what's happening inside every awakened soul. The old is burning away so that truth can take root. The feminine collective is stepping into spiritual authority, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that defines. She's remembering that creation itself moves through her body, her words, her intuition. She's realizing that the same energy she once used to heal others is now being redirected to create worlds. You can feel it. The feminine no longer waiting for permission. She's speaking light into existence. She's building new paradigms where compassion is strength and truth is love. Her leadership doesn't look like control. It looks like coherence. She's anchoring new blueprints for humanity simply by being authentic. And as this happens, the masculine is awakening too, drawn, inspired, and humbled by her light. The true divine masculine doesn't compete with her power. He rises to protect it. He doesn't silence her intuition. He learns to trust it. Because when the feminine leads with love, she heals the masculine's fear of being vulnerable. And together, they begin to build what the world forgot was possible: divine partnership. Right now, countless feminines are feeling this collective calling, the sudden urge to speak truth, to create, to move, to build, to rest, to shed. It's not random. It's the collective activation. Your heart is syncing with the rhythm of Gaia herself. Your evolution is the Earth's evolution. Your healing is her healing. You are not alone in this awakening. Every time you choose peace in a world that profits from chaos, you are rewriting destiny. Every time you hold compassion when it would be easier to close off, you are performing planetary alchemy. Every time you choose presence instead of panic, you are anchoring heaven into earth. This is the feminine revolution, not in the streets, but in the spirit. Not through fight, but through frequency. She is not demanding a throne. She's remembering she is the temple. And as more feminines embody this truth, the grid of the planet changes. The collective field begins to stabilize. Union energy becomes accessible for all. So if lately you felt more emotional, more intuitive, more sensitive, that's not regression, it's expansion. You are tuning into the collective field of the divine feminine awakening. You are feeling the heartbeat of the new earth, and your soul is whispering, it's time. Time to lead through love. Time to hold light fearlessly. Time to embody everything you came here to teach. The world doesn't need another leader of logic. it needs leaders of love. And that's what the feminine collective is becoming now. An orchestra of hearts vibrating in unity, rewriting history not with force, but with frequency. The shift isn't coming, it's here. And you, reading these words, feeling them in your bones, you are part of it. You are the shift. Something extraordinary is happening across the planet, a silent revolution of the soul. It's not loud, it's not trending, but it's transforming everything. The collective feminine is awakening together. You can feel it in the air, in the dreams, in the conversations that suddenly turn deeper. Women and awakened souls everywhere are beginning to remember who they are. The carriers of divine light, the architects of balance, the keepers of truth. This shift is not just personal, it's planetary. Every feminine who rises in love instead of fear sends a ripple across the collective field. Every act of forgiveness rewires the frequency of humanity. Every time one soul chooses alignment over attachment, it lifts the vibration of millions. You are not healing in isolation. You are part of a wave, a sacred tide of remembrance that the universe itself initiated. This is the era the prophets spoke of, the return of divine balance. The rise of the sacred feminine is not about power over the masculine. It's about power with the masculine. It's not rebellion, it's restoration. For too long, the feminine energy on earth was silenced, shamed, distorted. It was told that softness was weakness, intuition was madness, and emotion was instability. But now, those lies are collapsing under the weight of truth. The collective feminine is reclaiming her voice, not as noise, but as knowing. She's remembering that her sensitivity is not fragility, it's frequency. Her empathy is not burden, it's brilliance. Her tears are not chaos. They are cleansing codes that renew creation itself. Across timelines, you can feel it, a rebalancing of worlds. The earth is responding to this awakening. Nature is echoing her rhythm. The elements are amplifying her tone. The storms, the fires, the floods, they're not destruction, they're purification. They're mirroring what's happening inside every awakened soul. The old is burning away so that truth can take root. The feminine collective is stepping into spiritual authority, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that defines. She's remembering that creation itself moves through her body, her words, her intuition. She's realizing that the same energy she once used to heal others is now being redirected to create worlds. You can feel it. The feminine no longer waiting for permission. She's speaking light into existence. She's building new paradigms where compassion is strength and truth is love. Her leadership doesn't look like control. It looks like coherence. She's anchoring new blueprints for humanity simply by being authentic. And as this happens, the masculine is awakening too, drawn, inspired, and humbled by her light. The true divine masculine doesn't compete with her power. He rises to protect it. He doesn't silence her intuition. He learns to trust it. Because when the feminine leads with love, she heals the masculine's fear of being vulnerable. And together, they begin to build what the world forgot was possible: divine partnership. Right now, countless feminines are feeling this collective calling, the sudden urge to speak truth, to create, to move, to build, to rest, to shed. It's not random. It's the collective activation. Your heart is syncing with the rhythm of Gaia herself. Your evolution is the Earth's evolution. Your healing is her healing. You are not alone in this awakening. Every time you choose peace in a world that profits from chaos, you are rewriting destiny. Every time you hold compassion when it would be easier to close off, you are performing planetary alchemy. Every time you choose presence instead of panic, you are anchoring heaven into earth. This is the feminine revolution, not in the streets, but in the spirit. Not through fight, but through frequency. She is not demanding a throne. She's remembering she is the temple. And as more feminines embody this truth, the grid of the planet changes. The collective field begins to stabilize. Union energy becomes accessible for all. So if lately you felt more emotional, more intuitive, more sensitive, that's not regression, it's expansion. You are tuning into the collective field of the divine feminine awakening. You are feeling the heartbeat of the new earth, and your soul is whispering, it's time. Time to lead through love. Time to hold light fearlessly. Time to embody everything you came here to teach. The world doesn't need another leader of logic. It needs leaders of love. And that's what the feminine collective is becoming now. An orchestra of hearts vibrating in unity, rewriting history not with force, but with frequency. The shift isn't coming, it's here. And you, reading these words, feeling them in your bones, you are part of it. You are the shift.